What's up, people? My video camera always takes like a second to turn on. It's a weird lag, so it's kind of awkward when I'm waiting for it. And I'm like, oh, I have to jump to an intro at the top. Now, look, I was just chilling, right? It's New Year's Day. Get up on Reddit, post a meme to a subreddit, and I hear they got a rule for no memes. Fuck that shit, this is the perfect meme. And everybody agrees. They're like, get ready for the Nazi moderators. And I'm like, I put a little bit of my own personal wisdom out there, which is basically, rules are meant to be broken. And they're not just meant to be broken, but they're really only there for very specific cases. You know what I mean? It's like, really for those motherfuckers who are just like so out of line, and they want to argue with you. It's like generally we all got common sense. You don't do certain shit that's just crazy out of line. The rule for no memes in that subreddit are basically for motherfuckers who are gonna just like bombard it daily, flood it, make it crazy. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it was a nice, tasteful, one-time thing, very relevant to the specific subreddit. You know what I mean? So the rules are for the people who more or less don't have common sense. You know what I mean? And I quoted a Jesus verse for it. He said something about the Sabbath day. He said, if your sheep fell into a pit on Sabbath day, would you not rush to save it? And, right there he's saying, yeah, we got rules, but you gotta have common sense, duh. And it's the same thing elsewhere in the world, everywhere with rules. This is relevant. I know it sounds petty what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the post on the subreddit thing. But generally, rules are, there for like extreme cases, like, and this can go even into what I talk about with like we need like a common sense criminal justice system. Like there's a penal code, very specific shit and specific rules. It's like there's a time and a place where shit, let shit fly. It's like so it's illegal to punch somebody unless you like your life is threatened. There's specifics with that. Or it's fucking assault or whatever. There's only very specific circumstances that make it self-defense, but sometimes just like, that dude deserved to be punched. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what the specifics are, like, obviously that dude deserved to be punched. So the rules are really kind of this, like I said, you got the, I'm not saying they're meant to be broken. That's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying they're really only there for the people that don't got common sense. It's like if you're in Walmart, and it's like some kids are acting crazy, and it's like you try to tell them act normal. It's like, well, who are you? It's like, I don't really care who I am. We got rules that say this. They're like written and established, just for those people who want to do crazy stuff and try to argue about it. It's like, that's why they're there. They're not there for, your everyday normal person with common sense. You know what I mean? I think people got to understand that because it's super fucking relevant. Anyway, cruising out here. It was hard to make a video and get through the hood at the same time. It's like all types of random fucking people. It's hard stuff. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Rules are, say, meant to be broken, but it's really, they're just there for the fucking, like, people who just want to act crazy out of line. And that way you can have the rule already written, be like, look, bro, we got rules, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, like, right here, the sign says no trespassing private property. Motherfucking cops come through and they say, yeah, as long as, like, we put that sign up for the motherfuckers who go out there and fucking dump shit everywhere and all types of shit. You know what I mean? That's not like a rigid rule. It's like for whoever wants to act just so stupid, crazy out of line. Like, yeah, generally they understand we can come back here and chill, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Very simple stuff. The same thing with that thing I posted. It's like, it's so relevant, so perfect, so good. If you're gonna be Mr. Rigid fucking rule person, you're beside the point. Just like Jesus said, he was jumping on the Pharisees for, they want to be so rigid with the rules and stuff, but they don't want to use common sense when judging their own affairs. And that's what he always got on them for. He was like, you're a bunch of whitewashed tombs, you're hypocrites. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you just like upkeep this formality, this whatever it is. But, and generally speaking, with common sense terms, you're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. You can, just because you stay righteous by the written law or this and that, doesn't mean you're righteous in general. You know what I mean? And I know I'm taking this far. I'm not insinuating anything about the little post or anything in particular. It's just, in general, you can see the same thing. We have this formal penal code and a lot of rules in a lot of places. And like, yeah, you can stick to the rules, and at the same time, you can be a piece of shit. You can stick to the rules, play by the rules of the game, and like work around that shit and still be a piece of shit. I see basketball a lot. I seen this dude, when someone goes up for a jumper, he goes and sticks his foot out underneath them so they land on his feet and sprain their ankles and stuff. And it's like, that's clearly dirty play. You know what I'm saying? But there ain't no rule against it, so it's like, oh yeah, you sticking to the rules, it don't mean you're righteous. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a common sense aspect of it, and the rules are really just like some sort of attempt to codify that common sense righteousness. But it never works, because it doesn't work. There's just too many explicit details that cannot really be. There's just too many details that really just can't be codified. It's like, oh, let's make a rule for that. Oh, now we're gonna make a rule for that. It's like, okay, well, there's certain cases where you can do something and it might not be wrong, but now you done codified it as wrong, and now it's like it just hinders our own ability, and the whole thing, it doesn't work. At the end of the day, common sense is the only real law that we can live by. And I know I'm talking about a little post on Reddit and whatever, but it applies to so much stuff, and common sense is really the only rules that we can live by. And I can already see it. Like I said, you could play a game and still be dirty. You know what I mean? Play by the rules, not breaking the rules, and still play dirty. People will be outraged. Like, oh, you're just gonna let him slide. And people are like, well, I can't. It's not against the rules. What do you want me to do? And it's like, dude, we all understand with common sense that is wrong. It's like that's the real law and everything. We have natural human law that I think comes from kind of being social and tribal, just common sense ways that we learn to coexist and stuff. And we intuitively know when something's just wrong. It's like, dude, fuck that guy. Like, we need to get him out the tribe. You know what I mean? And so I think common sense is the real superior rule of law. So, like I said, the written rule is stuff that seems to be meant to be broken. And you know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to enforce that, you might be hindering, good stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, like, the rules, I'm telling you, I'm not saying they're meant to be broken. I'm saying that they're just to keep the real obvious fucking, people who are out of line, in line. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're doing something tastefully within, a reasonable whatever, you're not outrageous, you're not doing anything crazy. If I'm, it says no running, but I gotta run real quick for a reason, or if it says no skateboarding in the store, I just feel like trying out skateboard, it's not that big a deal. Those rules are for the people who are like really, really out of line. And just so there's no argument about it. It's like, look, we already got it written in stone, homie. Like, there's no arguing about this. Like, because people love to go back and forth and like reason up and down and in between with the common sense stuff. It's like there's a common sense thing. They'll try to like reason. It's like, hey, well, why you let him do that and not me? And it's like there's a bunch of like unexplainable nuances that explain why. It's like, well, he's clearly just doing it for whatever, to test the skateboard, and you're just being a jackass. It's like, well, how do you know? How do you know? And they'll go argue back and forth, and that's the problem, man. People want to play games and be stupid. And I mean, at the end of the day, we all got common sense. We all see what's what, you know. It's not a hard thing to decipher. I think that's a major problem in our world, you know. We got all these people, they'll play by the rules and then try to, like, play themselves off as, like, being, you know, clean or whatnot. It's like, nah, dude, you're clearly fucked. Like, common sense tells us what's real, you know what I mean? And I think that's a major problem in our world, is people just fucking being crazy, you know, fucking pretending like common sense ain't a thing. You know, it's those people that want to, like, either play by the rules and try to act like they're clean, or if there is no rules, they'll be doing something crazy. You know, if we got like a gentleman's agreement just to act like normal generally, you know, and if someone wants to act crazy, it's be like, well, he's doing the same thing. It's like, no, he's not. He's doing something normal. You're like 10 fucking times more extreme with it, you know. There's a lot of stuff like that. People, I feel like it's a major problem in the world. There's so many people just act stupid, like they ain't got common sense, dude. It's like we could all live pretty fucking normally, you know what I'm saying? We all could just get along and have like gentlemen's agreements. Ain't gotta write down some fucking rigid ass rule to, you know, if people could fucking not play stupid, you know. And I mean, it's hard sometimes when somebody plays stupid. It's like, how the fuck you gonna, like, it's like somebody say, well, he's doing the same thing. It's like, how do you explain exactly how it's different? It's like, well, he's clearly just testing a skateboard because he's probably going to buy it. It's like, how do you know he's going to buy it? It's like, I don't fucking know, because look, because he's a grown man and you're a little kid. Like, I don't know. There's no, like, real, it's hard to make a case for that type of shit. But at the end of the day, we all know intuitively, you know what I'm saying? And, like, that's what I'm saying. It's common sense. It's the true supreme rule of law, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's the true judge. You know, there's a context, everything. It's like, man, we can see what's what. We ain't tripping. And I think that's why the world's going crazy so much, because everybody's playing games, and, you know, then people will make these rigid rules, and it's going to hinder our own ability to do basic shit. We're going to get frustrated. Like, damn, man, like, how can I live without fucking testing my skateboard before I buy it? You know, no, you know, it's stupid, and it's caused by these jackasses that want to, you know, play games, you know what I mean? Like, try to pretend like, you know, they'll play by the rules, pretend they're clean, or they're fucking, you know, just do some jackass shit that's clearly out of line. You know, they act like they ain't got common sense, like there ain't no gentleman's agreement type shit. And that's the problem. That's when shit gets crazy. And it's like, and then they'll claim if you, like, fucking call them out for it, they're like, oh, look at you, you're a biased person. You're just picking on me because of this, and this. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm trying to claim y'all fucking whatever the fuck. It's like, fucking people, man. They're just fucking up the whole thing. And that's the problem. It's such a big problem. And I know, as petty as the little thing sounded, it's the same, like, principality. You know what I'm saying? It's the same fucking, like, pattern. And it's just annoying. Common sense. We all got common sense. And that's why certain people get along. You know, you get along when you're around people that got common sense. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody fucking, we don't think about nothing. You know, when you go hang out with friends, y'all got rules, written rules? No, ain't nobody got written rules. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking, y'all all got common sense. It's when you got fucking jackasses coming in the scene. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think we should just deal with those people with common sense. Not on, you don't got to write down some rigid law that fucking these people can just, like, exploit. Fucking, okay, I'll play by those rules and still be a jackass. It's like, it never ends. It's gonna fucking go on forever. At the end of the day, we just have to revert back to common sense. I'm telling you, I can already see this. It's a fucking pattern, extrapolated pattern. It's very simple. Sandy jackasses should be dealt with common sense. You know what I mean? And I see so many people just doing some stupid shit, and then people call them out, and then they want to try to, like, act like what they're doing is the same thing as somebody else when it's clearly just totally different. It's like, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. It's not like there's so many different nuances involved, and it's impossible to make a case for it, really. Like, how do you point it all out? And it's like, okay, well, are we gonna codify these nuances? And it's like, dude, no, it's impossible. You can't codify that shit. It's just, We have a common sense morality. That's the only way to go about this shit. So I know this came off a little petty thing, but it's relevant to the whole world, obviously, and our whole human affairs and everything. I feel like the penal code and everything like that should be more common sense based. You know what I mean? Like jurors, we have the trial by jury, so like the jurors can be like, okay, they can decide with common sense or whatnot, hear you out and hear the whole case and stuff. But sometimes I think, they're probably told, look at the penal code. I don't know, I've never been on a jury before, but there is a penal code and they might judge, relative to the explicitly written rules. And it's like, dude, but there's context, there's nuances, there's details. You know what I mean? It's like, you could either be innocent just because you broke the penal code. It could still be, you're basically innocent because there's common sense factor involved. On the other hand, you could have stuck to the penal code, but you're still guilty because, there's a common sense factor involved, man. And in the same way, you don't want a jury, just fucking, just saying, okay, we could just decide based on, that's another thing. It's for protection, you don't really want juries acting crazy and just fucking, oh, you're guilty. We just decided because we got common sense and we decided, and that's the thing is like we have to keep each other fucking, honest. And that's the challenge of our world, man. It's the challenge of our world. And that's why I keep it real and I just call people out like that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't got time for the bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Like, I do not have time for the bullshit. This is, I don't know, just is what it is. Like I said, when you're hanging with friends, y'all got written rules. Okay, no saying these words, no doing that, no, it's like, dude, y'all tripping. Like, act normal. I mean, you don't need that when you're around real people that get along normally and have common sense. You don't need that shit. You need it when you're fucking with some fucking like weasels, you know what I mean? And I hate those I see those type of people, I hate those type of people. And I see so many people in society like that. They're always doing something stupid, like the girl who spilled coffee on herself at McDonald's and she sued McDonald's talking about, oh, I had no idea it was hot. This should have been on a label. Bitch, are you retarded? Like, are you fucking retarded? Like, come on. We don't need fucking rules and like explicit shit for, it's just these people trying to play games and fucking take advantage. And I'm telling you, they exploit the system. At the end of the day, it's impossible to codify everything. They're going to keep exploiting it. So the only thing to do is live by a common sense rule of law. And that's really, it's the only way to go about it. I know it. I know this fucking deeply. It's just extrapolating a pattern. I can see how it's exploited. I can see how it's going to continue to be exploited until motherfuckers switch up and live by a fucking common sense rule of law type shit. So that being said, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for listening. Much love. Peace, happiness, harmony on earth. Live normally, you know what I'm saying? Keep it real. And this is relevant to that whole lot of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for listening.